Hello, this is Joe, MTL Vintage Cards, bringing you another series, brand new series, in fact. Gosh, it's been since November since I've streamed the game. You can see them in the playlist for the 1959 baseball replay. I'm still doing those offline, but I thought I'd bring another series. And the series was inspired as I picked up the book Can't Anybody Here Play This Game, written by Jimmy Breslin. And it memorializes the 1962 New York Mets inaugural season, of course, managed by Casey Stengel. And I thought I'd replay it. In 1962, the Mets were 40 and 120. 120, yes. I thought, let me see what I can do with this team. I enjoy playing quote unquote bad baseball. So I thought I would bring it here. And as usual, I roll off camera, and the results are on Inside Pitch Baseball. And I capture all the statistics here, as you can see on the Replay Baseball interface. I'll put a link in the description for Jimmy Breslin's book. Before I get going with the starting lineups, I thought I'd read a short passage from the introduction in Breslin's book, written by Bill Veeck. And here Bill Veeck says, "At long last, the flood of excellence is dammed. The trend reversed. The losers have their day. Jimmy Breslin has written a history of the Mets, preserving for all time a remarkable tale of ineptitude, mediocrity, and abject failure." I thought I would, again, play and let's see what happens. I'll put a link also in the description where you could purchase this book, and also a link to the real-life box score, which the St. Louis Cardinals won 11-4. So why don't we get started? And here are the starting lineups. For the New York Mets, we have Richie Ashburn in center, Felix Mantilla at shortstop, batting third is Charlie Neal at second base, Frank Thomas is the left fielder batting cleanup, Gus Bell is in right field batting fifth, Gil Hodges is at first base batting sixth, Don Zimmer at third base batting seventh, Hobie Landreth is catcher batting eighth, and Roger Craig is the pitcher batting ninth. Roger Craig, for the season in real life, had a 10-24 record. Yes, 10-24 in 33 starts, with a 4.51 ERA. For the St. Louis Cardinals, the starting lineup is as follows. It's Curt Flood, who will lead off, playing center field. Julian Javier bats second, playing second base. Bill White will be at first base, batting third. The cleanup hitter will be Stan Musial. He'll play right field. Ken Boyer will bat fifth, and he'll play at third. Mini Orestes Minoso will be in left field. He'll bat sixth. Gene Oliver will do the catching, batting seventh. Julio Gauthier will be the shortstop, batting eighth. And Larry Jackson will be the pitcher, batting ninth. In 1962, Larry Jackson had a 16-11 record with a 3.75 ERA. So let's get going with the Mets' historic inaugural season, and I hope you have fun, and I would welcome any comments, like, subscribe, and all that stuff. Thank you very much. And here we go. The pitch to Ashburn hits it, and it's a line out to Julio Gauthier. Just like that, we're underway. Line out 6. The second hitter is Felix Mantilla. Mantilla will hit a ground ball to Ken Boyer. Boyer scoops it up, throws it over to Bill White for the second out of the inning. 2 up and 2 down. And the third place hitter is Charlie Neal. And Neal will stroke a single past Gauthier and Minoso picks it up and fires it over to second. So Neil is on with a 2-out single. Frank Thomas is the cleanup hitter. He'll bat next. And Frank Thomas will make it out somewhere. It'll be a ground ball to Julian Javier. Javier flips it over to Gote, 4-6, for the 3rd out of the inning. The Mets don't score in their inaugural inning. Over to Roger Craig to face the St. Louis Cardinals with Curt Flood, the center fielder. And Flood right away has a home run chance. And no, the home run chance fails, so we'll roll again. And Flood strokes a single through the wickets of Craig and into center field for a leadoff single. Flood doesn't get the lead. He'll stay put. Oops. We'll need to put a single. There we go. Julian Javier, the second baseman, bats second. And Javier will stroke the ball over to Zimmer. Zimmer has it. Throws it over to second for 1. Over to first. Not in time. So Javier is on a fielder's choice. Javier is always a threat to steal. I should make the out. There we go. Javier is always a threat to steal. Javier doesn't get the lead. And over to Bill White. And Bill White will hit a ground ball to Charlie Neal. Neal throws it over to Mantilla for 1. And over to first, not in time. So that's a 4-6. If for those of you scoring at home, Bill White is on with 2 out. He doesn't get the lead. Over to cleanup hitter, Hall of Famer Stan Musial. And Musial will get a ground ball short to Mantilla. Mantilla will go the short way and throw it over to Neal, covering second base for the 3rd out of the inning. 1 inning is in the books. We have no score. Sorry, as I move over. 6-4. I forgot to score it. There we go. Larry Jackson will face Gus Bell, who will later in the season move on to the Milwaukee Braves. And Gus Bell will hit a fly ball to Minnie Minoso. Minoso puts the squeeze on it for out number 1. Gil Hodges is the next hitter. Hodges will hit a ground ball to Boyer, or fires it across the diamond to Bill White for the 2nd out of the inning. 2 out, nobody on for Zim. Zim, who started the season here with the Mets and will finish the season with the Cincinnati Reds. And Zimmer will strike out. The game's first strikeout. 3 up, 3 down. Go the Mets. In their half of the 2nd inning, on to the bottom of the 2nd we go with no score. Did I put a strikeout? No, I didn't. Okay, here we go. Roger Craig will face Ken Boyer, Minnie Minoso, and Gene Oliver. The pitch to Boyer, and that's a screamer down the left field line. Frank Thomas scoops it up, throws it over to Mantilla, but standing up with a leadoff double is Ken Boyer. Boyer doesn't get the lead, nothing going on for Minnie Minoso, and Minoso will hit the ground ball sharply to Mantilla. Mantilla looks Boyer back to second, and retired is Minnie Minoso, 6-3. One out with Boyer in scoring position for Gene Oliver. And Oliver will draw a walk. That sets up the double play. So runners on first and second with one out for the shortstop, Julio Gauthier. I should have done this earlier. On the season, real life, Gauthier had 2 home runs and 27 RBIs. And Gauthier will hit a ball right field, and it drops in front of Gus Bell. Rounding third and scoring is Ken Boyer. Holding at second is Oliver. The Cardinals draw first blood with Gauthier's RBI single. Easy, that's how you score it. 1-0. Larry Jackson, in real life, not bad, batted .169. Runners in first and second. And we'll have a bunt try. And the bunt try is a good sacrifice. That's a little dribbler in front of Landreth. Landreth's only play is at first base, so that's a sacrifice hit. We have runners on second and third, 2 out for the top of the order, and Hobie Landreth. I'm sorry, Curt Flood, who singled in the first inning. And Curt Flood hits a fly ball deep center field. Way back goes Ashburn. He can get it. That ball is up, and out of here. A 3-run shot for Curt Flood. Flood in real life had 12 home runs in the season, and he starts off the season with game 1 with a 3-run shot. And all of a sudden, the St. Louis Cardinals are up 4-0 with 2 out. Julian Javier, in real life, hit .263 with 7 home runs and 39 RBIs. With the bases clear, Javier will hit a ground ball to shortstop. Mantilla is there. Side retired, finally. But not before the St. Louis Cardinals score 4 runs on Roger Craig. Top of the third, Hobie Landreth, who will move on to the Baltimore Orioles, We'll move on to the Baltimore Orioles later on in the season. That ball is, Jackson uncorks a wild pitch to the screen. It goes. No harm, no foul. That's ball 1. And that'll be a fly ball to Minnie Minoso. Minnie Minoso is tracking it, but he drops the ball. Minnie Minoso drops the ball. Landreth makes the big turn, but he'll hold at first base. We have 1 out, and Roger Craig is up. Roger Craig had 76 at-bats and had just 4 hits for an .053. Well, nothing but a bunt is in order. Let's see what Craig does. And Craig lays down the bunt. And that ball goes to the pitcher. That ball is hit too sharp. So that would be a sharply hit ground ball to the pitcher. Poor bunt. Over to second for 1 to Gauthier. Over to first to White for a double play. We'll score it a 1-6-3 double play with a poor bunt attempt by Roger Craig. If this is a harbinger of things to come for the New York Mets, we're going to have a fun season. But any replay is fun. Those of you who know that and play a lot of games, this doesn't bother me at all. This is fun baseball for me. So, 2 out, nobody on for Richie Ashburn. Ashburn line to short his first time up. And Ashburn will hit a ball to short. Gote is there. He'll fire it over to White for the 3rd out of the inning. Side retired. After a leadoff runner reached base, the Mets were unable to score. To the bottom of the 3rd, Bill White will face Roger Craig for the 2nd time. Bill White grounded into fielder's choice his first time up. And in his 2nd time up, Bill White will stroke a ball, sharply hit to Charlie Neal, who throw it over to Gil Hodges. Easy play for the 1st out of the inning. And now it's up to Stan Musial. Musial, who in his first time at bat grounded to short, strokes a single past Charlie Neal into right field. 1 out single for Musial. Musial is not a threat to steal. Ken Boyer will face Roger Craig. And Ken Boyer watches ball 4 sail high, and he's on. We have runners on 1st and 2nd. 1 out for Minnie Minoso. The double play would be a great idea now. Minoso will hit a fly ball to left field. Frank Thomas is there for the 2nd out of the inning. So 2 out and still 2 on for the Cardinals catcher Gene Oliver. Oliver will hit a ball way high. Into the gap it goes. Richie Ashburn collects it. Coming in to score is Stan Musial. Following right behind him is Ken Boyer. That's a 2-run double by Gene Oliver, and suddenly it's 6-0, and the rout is on. 6-0. Julio Gote will be the next hitter. And Gote will strike out. Mercifully, the 3rd inning is over, with the Cardinals scoring 2 runs. To the top of the 4th we go. The Cardinals lead the New York Mets 6-0 with Felix Mantilla. Felix Mantilla grounded to 3rd base his first time up. And Mantilla will hit a ball. Way high it goes. Over Minoso's head, he's watching it sail, and that ball is up, and out of here. The first home run in the Mets history goes to Felix Mantilla. First run and first home run, all resolved in 1 at bat. It's Felix Mantilla. So in the replay history, there is the first home run. 6-1 for Charlie Neal. And Neal will hit a ground ball, a slow roller to Ken Boyer. He picks it up, scoops it, and throws it over to first. 1st out of the inning for Frank Thomas. Thomas 0 for 1 so far. And Thomas, who had 34 home runs in real life, hits a ball way high over Curt Flood's head, and that ball is up, and out of here. Another solo shot, and suddenly it's 6-2. Larry Jackson gave up 2 home runs in the same inning. Still with 1 out. Still with 1 out. That ball is grounded to Julio Gote. Gote picks it up, throws it over to first for the 2nd out of the inning. Oops, erase. 2 out for Gil Hodges. Hodges, who grounded to third his first time up. And Hodges will stroke it to Boyer. Boyer over to first for the third out of the inning. But the New York Mets pick up 2 runs on solo homers by Felix Mantilla and Frank Thomas. To the bottom of the fourth we go. It's 6-2 for the Cardinals. Larry Jackson is up, and Jackson hits it to Hodges. Hodges can't get to it. It goes into right field, and Larry Jackson is on with a leadoff single. Kurt Flood is up. Flood hit a 3-run homer his last time up. Flood is 2 for 2 in the season. If you don't believe me, here it is. 2 at-bats, 2 hits, batting 1,000. And in real life, he hit 296, a strong season. So Craig throws it to Flood, and Flood singles into center field. Ashburn collects it. And Larry Jackson stops at second. The Cardinals are threatening again. And that'll be a fly ball to center field. Ashburn is there, not too deep. And he makes the first out of the inning. 1 out for Bill White. Bill White is 0 for 2, looking for his first hit of the game. And White takes a ball, and the ball hits a deep drive to Gus Bell. Over his head it goes, and it's gone. A home run for Bill White, and another 3-run homer. And it's 9-2. Casey Stengel comes out of the dugout muttering under his breath and says, "Roger, that's enough." And the Mets will bring in the left-hander Ken McKenzie. In real life, Ken McKenzie sported a 5-4 record with a 4.95 ERA. So it looks like we're on pace for the 11-4 game if things continue. And that ball is a single. So Musial greets Ken McKenzie with a single. 10 hits in not quite 4 innings. Still only 1 out for Ken Boyer. Boyer has scored 2 runs this game, and Boyer will strike out. 2 out for Minnie Minoso. And Minoso lines it to Mantilla for the 3rd out of the inning. L6. The Cardinals put up another 3 spot on the board. To the 5th we go. With your score, Cardinals 9, Mets 2. And the pitch to Zim is a sharp line drive. He hits it opposite field. Into the corner it goes. Musial has trouble digging it out. Rounding second. Going to third. Standing up is Don Zimmer. A leadoff triple for Don Zimmer. Of course, with a lead of 9-2, the Cardinals will concede a run. Kobe Landreth will hit a ground ball. It's a slow roller to Boyer. His only play is at first. And in to score promptly is Don Zimmer, and it's 9-3. Ken McKenzie will stay in the game, and McKenzie will hit a ball to ground ball to Javier. Javier picks it up, throws it over to White for the second out of the inning. Top of the order we go for Richie Ashburn. And Ashburn hits a ball deep to center field. Back goes Flood, back to the wall, and he's got it. Puts a squeeze on it for the third out of the inning. Fly ball there. To the bottom of the fifth with the score 9-3. I hope you like this sort of unusual replay. Let me know in the comments. I plan to, again, hopefully do all 162 games. I don't know, based on how busy life is. We'll see how often I post, but I know I'm going to enjoy this because as I play this, I'll be reading the book and getting a few laughs out of it as I go on. So it'll be a totally immersive experience, and hope you'll join me in that journey. All right, Gene Oliver will face Mackenzie. Oliver scored a run, and he had a double and knocked in 2 runs. And Oliver strokes a single through the wickets. Mackenzie into center field. Ashburn throws it in, and it's a leadoff single. So I don't know about you, but the whole strategy, whether the score is 1-0, 9-0, I always look for stolen bases, pickoffs. My strategy is strategy all the time. No mercy anytime. That's the way I play my replays. I know that Inside Pitch has a different methodology, but my game, my universe, just like when you play, it'll be your game and your universe. So Gote is up, and Gote singles. It's an infield hit. Charlie Neal couldn't do anything with it. So we have runners on first and second. The Cardinals' 12th hit of the game, with Larry Jackson up. Jackson singled and scored his last time up. He's going to hit away, and Jackson singles past the shortstop. No sense in sending anybody home. The bases are loaded. Nobody out. With a score of 9-3, the infield will play back for top of the order and Curt Flood. Flood is 3 for 3 on the season, and that ball sails high. Ball 4, and Mackenzie walks in a run. And it's 10-3. KC is stirring again in the dugout. He'll play it play by play, batter by batter. Fly ball to Frank Thomas. Let's see if that ball is deep enough to score Julio Gote. Yes, it is. Sacrifice fly. And that brings in Gote. With his speed, he scores easily. And the score is 11-3 for Bill White. Bill White homered, 3-run shot his last time up. And he lines it to Hodges. And diving back in is Curt Flood, avoiding the double play. 2 out for Stan Musial. And Musial will walk, which loads the bases again. Bases are loaded. Let's see. Yep, Casey's coming out. He's had enough. He'll be taking out Mackenzie. And I have a feeling this is how the season is going to go. It'll be a constant revolving door of relievers. Who shall we pick? Let's see. Oh, why not? Let's go with Ray Davio. Wait till you see his ERA. So Davio in real life had a 1-5 record and a sparkling 6.22 ERA from my hometown of Montreal. Incidentally, the New York Mets that season, if I'm not mistaken, had a team ERA of over 5. Anyway, Mr. Davio will face Ken Boyer with the bases loaded. And Boyer hits a fly ball to Frank Thomas, not too deep. And that's the third out of the inning. Cardinals score another pair of runs in the fifth. To the sixth we go, with the Cardinals leading 11-3. Larry Jackson is still in there, and Jackson against Mantilla. Mantilla grounds it to White. White takes it to the bag himself for the first out of the inning. Charlie Neal. Neal has one hit. And Neal swing and a miss, strike 3. Let's see how Jackson is doing so far. And you can always, this is the beauty of it, you can always go to box score and you can see that Jackson pitched 5 2/3 inning. He's faced 21 batters. He has a ways to go. He can face 31 batters until he's tired. So Frank Thomas is up. He homered his last time up. And Thomas hits a fly ball to Minoso. Minoso is there. Easy play for out number 3. 3 up, 3 down, go the Mets. In the sixth, bottom of the sixth, with Ray Davio. Davio will face Minoso, Oliver, Gote, and Jackson. And Minoso hits a ground ball. Mantilla is there. Fires it over to first for the first out of the inning. Minoso is 0 for 4 now in the game. Over to Gene Oliver. Oliver is 2 for 2 with a walk. And Oliver singles past Charlie Neal into right field for his third hit of the game. 1 out, 1 on for Julio Gote. And Gote will hit a ball to Frank Thomas in left. Frank Thomas puts the squeeze on it for out number 2. Which brings up Larry Jackson. Jackson is 2 for 2 with a sacrifice. In the game, Jackson will hit a fly ball to Richie Ashburn. Not too deep, can of corn for the third out of the inning. No runs, miraculously. In that inning, top of the seventh, 11-3 Cardinals for Gus Bell. And Bell pops it up to Gene Oliver. He's in fair territory. He drops the ball. And Gus Bell is on a catcher error. Oliver should have had that. Well, it's the first game of the season. Over to Gil Hodges. And Hodges takes ball 4. And suddenly the Mets have something going. First and second, nobody out for Don Zimmer. And Zim hits the ball to Julian Javier. Over to second for one. Gote has it, flings it across to Bill White for a 4-6-3 double play. Over the third goes Gus Bell. But that was a rally killer indeed. 2 out with Gus Bell on third base for Hobie Landreth. And Landreth will hit a dribbler right in front of home plate. Gene Oliver tests it again. Not in time. Base hit. That's an infield single for Hobie Landreth. And it's 11-4. Davio will come out for a pinch hitter. And with Jackson, Jim, let's go with, let's see. We'll go with Ed Boucher. So Ed Boucher will do the pinch hitting. Boucher in real life, 161 average. OL. And Boucher will hit a ground ball to Julian Javier. He'll flip it to Gote. Side retired. The Mets score their 4th run of the game. We're stretching here in St. Louis with the Cardinals leading 11-4. Let's see who the Mets Casey Stengel will choose. Sherman Jones will be the pitcher in real life. Sherman Jones was 0-4 in 23 innings of work with a 7.71 ERA. He'll face the top of the order. And that's a ground ball to Gil Hodges. Hodges, he boots it. That's an error. Flood is on with an E3. So, history is made again. The first error committed by Gil Hodges. Julian Javier steps up. And Javier will ground the ball over to short. Let's see if they can turn 2. No, it's too slow. Mantilla's only play is at first base. Standing at second is Kurt Flood, 1 on. For Bill White, who's 1-for-4 in the game. And Bill White will hit a fly ball to left field. Frank Thomas is there. Easy play, comes in a few steps for the second out of the inning. Holding at second is Kurt Flood. For Stan Musial. And Musial will hit a fly ball, this time Richie Ashburn. Ashburn comes in a few steps as well for the third out of the inning. No hits, no runs for the Cardinals in their half of the 7th. 1 man left on base. Top of the 8th, let's see how fresh Larry Jackson is. 27, he can still face a few batters. We'll see, he might go the distance. We'll see, you never know. And Ashburn hits a ground ball, a little dribbler again in front of Oliver. Oliver can't make the play, and Richie Ashburn is on with an infield single. And that was the Mets' only their 6th hit of the game. Felix Mantilla is up next. And Mantilla will ground it to Ken Boyer. Over to Javier for one. Not in time at first. And Mantilla is on with a fielder's choice. 5-4 is the play. Charlie Neal is the next hitter. Julian Javier has it. Sharply hit over to Gote for one. Over to White for two. An inning-ending 4-6-3 double play. And just like that, the leadoff single from Richie Ashburn goes for naught. To the bottom of the eighth. This will be Sherman Jones' second inning of relief. He'll face Ken Boyer. Boyer fly ball. Deep goes Richie Ashburn, but he has plenty of room and he'll make the play for the first out of the inning. Minnie Minoso hits a ball to Ashburn. He's over to his right in the gap, cuts it off. Minnie Minoso round second. At first, he's going to try for two, and he slides in safely for a one-out double for Minoso. That was Minoso's first hit of the game. Gene Oliver will be the next hitter. And frustrated, Sherman Jones plunks him. Hit by pitch. Runners on first and second. And Jones uncorks a wild pitch. And Casey is just scratching his head and he's saying, can't anybody here play this game? Second and third, one out. There's no sense on playing the infield in, Casey says. And that's a ball single past Zimmer. Stopping at third is Oliver. Minoso scores, and it's 12-4. That was Gote's third hit of the game. Now with Jackson, the pitcher, hitting, of course, they'll call the infield in. And Jackson hits a fly ball to right field. Oh boy, is this deep enough to score Oliver? Yes, it is. And Jackson hits a sacrifice fly. And it's 13-4 for Kurt Flood. And Flood, another fly ball, also to Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas puts the squeeze on it for the third out of the inning, but not before. The Cardinals put up another pair of runs. To the top of the ninth we go. 13-4. I just want to keep track. I lost track. Okay. Jackson has faced 30 batters. He's still fresh with Frank Thomas, and after that he'll be tired. But I'll probably leave him in. And leadoff walk for Frank Thomas. Gus Bell is up. And Jackson uncorks a wild pitch. Over to second goes Thomas. He may be tired. We may have to reconsider our decision. Ground ball to shortstop. Gote. That's a slow roller. Over to third goes Thomas. One out with Thomas on third base for Gil Hodges. And Hodges hits the ball to right field. And it drops. RBI single for Gil Hodges. And it's 13-5 for Don Zimmer. Don Zimmer hits a ground ball to Julian Javier. Javier's only play is at first, so Hodges moves to second base. last out possibility. Last out. Last chance, I should say. Will be Landreth. And Landreth hits a fly ball to Kurt Flood. Flood has it, squeezes it for the third out of the inning. And the game is over. The Cardinals beat the New York Mets 13-5. Let's look at the summary. Incidentally, I'll be auto playing all of these games except for one. I have a surprise project in mind. I'll announce it at some point. But let's go to the box score. So the New York Mets, 5 runs, 7 hits, 1 error. The St. Louis Cardinals, 13 runs, 16 hits, 2 errors. The winning pitcher is Larry Jackson. The loser is Roger Craig. Home runs, Kurt Flood had 1, Bill White had 1, Felix Mantilla had 1, and Frank Thomas had 1. Balls were flying out of Sportsman's Park in St. Louis. Let's see, offensive stars. Kurt Flood had 4 hits and 3 RBIs. Gene Oliver had 3 hits. Gote had 3 hits. Larry Jackson had 3 hits. So that was the game. I hope you enjoyed it, folks. I would appreciate your comments. Let me know. I plan to do this for the long haul. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you very much, and goodbye.